Nice little sunset over Camel Wheel. And a full moon. So Margaret and I have decided to leave Camel Wheel and get another hour or two under our belt, a little bit closer to Mount Isa. That place that we were just at, Mozzie's pretty bad. So we'll get up the road. Neither of us are hungry. We ate like late afternoon, so we're going to send it down the road and light a fire and camp at a free camp up the road before we go into Mount Isa. Young Margs is going to have a crack on the stock whip. This will be interesting. Go on, just have a crack. You might learn something watching yourself. Have a crack. No. No, I want to watch you. You excite me.
It's not brown in it.
See what happens when you text your friends? I'm not... So Margaret and I, this is bizarre, but Margaret and I were just talking about, now we've had dinner and settled down, we're in a camp, and there's nobody for miles. We're talking about pulling Margaret's new 308 high-powered rifle out and going to set up a target. And as I said it, within a few seconds, Margaret's on the phone checking the weather. And she goes, "What did you just say? Have a go at this." I said, "Wow. Check the name where we are." Oh, and a shooting star. I'm sure you've all seen that. There's plenty of that going on out here. The skies are crystal clear and wow, it is gorgeous. Waste time putting the phone up there because it just doesn't show it any justice. But Margs and I are going to have a target shoot off, aren't we?
We are. And just to add to that, it's 9:15 at night and it's still 19 degrees.
Wow, and I can hear a truck coming and it's too close now. I've got a bit of a pretty light truck show going on with a few people that we've met. And they know who they are. Oh, look at that. That would have been a ripper. That's a 90 Kenworth, fully lit up. Look at it. Yeah, with another truck on the back. But anyway, we missed it. I'll get the next one. They're going past about every 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, so we're gonna go and set up a target and just see how well Marg goes on the 308 because she's a noisy bugger. So down in the distance there, that's about 350 metres, right over the back. We've set up a target. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to see it in the gun scope or not, but obviously when you set up a gun like this and you know that there's nobody around or nobody over the back of where the projectile's going to go, etc. When it's all safe and nobody's in what I call the exclusion zone. Now, the exclusion zone is anybody that way or forward, or anybody back this way and forward. That is the exclusion zone, and anyone within yelling distance is to know that there's a firearm facing that way and it's loaded and you're going to let shots off. It's all about safety and awareness and lots of fun when you do this target shooting. Margaret and I do a bit of, I do a bit of target shooting. This is all new to Margaret. This is a brand new gun, Australian made gun. Got it off our good friends down in Horsham at J&A Shooting Supplies. G'day Billy, if you're watching this, mate. Thanks for this 308 for Margaret. It's a gem, but it looks fantastic and we're about to find out just how well it performs. I've got a round circle set up over there. I've got a few round circles set up and a bullseye on that target. I'm going to put the phone into the scope. I'm not sure if it'll pick it up, I doubt it. We'll have a quick look just in case you might be able to see something down there. Yeah, very, very difficult. You can't see it, but it's about 350 metres away. And yeah, so Margaret just informs me she doesn't want to let a shot off tonight. She's a bit, never done it before, blah, blah, blah. It's very, very, these guns are very loud. And this is what the projectile looks like. That's it there. And from my finger forward, that projectile will move through the oxygen at more than 3,500 feet in a split second. So that gives you, if you can fathom that, if you're not a hunter, try and fathom that, because it is super fast. And what happens is, that's the rate that it'll travel at. That's like its top speed. It doesn't mean it's going to do that speed and still have all the kinetic energy behind it to kill something, because it's not the case. That's about the top speed it gets to over its first, 500 or 600 yards. And then it starts to lose its kinetic energy, and it starts to lose its power. So if it hits something at a kilometre away, it's just gonna and hit the ground, because it's got no power at that range, or not much. So the real power is sort of between 400 and 600 metres, a little bit further. But we're going to give it a run here tonight and just see what it's like. But yeah, these projectiles in this particular gun, I'll see if I can get a better shot of it. There it is. Give you a rough idea. That projectile on the end is that will kill anything if you're hunting. But Margaret and I don't kill animals. Unless we're in a populated pest area, then I'll shoot pigs. I wanted to get involved with some buffalo shooting up near Darwin, but it didn't happen this trip. It might next trip, because the buffaloes and the pigs, mainly the pigs, are the biggest pest on planet Earth. A 12-month-old pig can do up to $20,000 damage on a farmer's property, fencing and crops, and the damage they do around houses and plumbing and electrical. And so pigs are a major problem in Australia. globally for that matter. So we put bullets between their eyes. It's that simple. But they breed out of control. They can breed a few times per year, and they can give off an offspring of anywhere from a dozen to 16 or 17 young in one litter. So you can imagine 3 of those litters per year and how many of them are out there, because there's a lot of them. So so hunters get out there, and not only is it a bit of fun learning about the gun and the rates bullets move out and all the different equipment available and lots of different ways to hunt them, but it's definitely a worldwide sport. And for that reason, what it does to our farmers, I'm happy to shoot them. But it's all a bit of fun for Margaret and I. Margaret's new at this and she doesn't want to shoot tonight, so that's fine. So I'm going to load it up and just double check everything. And I'm going to see how we go with the target that, like I said, is about, about 350 metres away. And see how we go. Should be a bit of fun. So I've got these ear muffs in because these buggers, they go off with a hell of a bang and can hurt your ears. So everything's about safety and looking after yourself. I can't see anything with that light in my face. That one went off all right. It looks fine, and I'm going to let 3 shots off so I can see the variation as to where I get the hairs in the end of the scope in relation to the target, so I can see just how accurate this gun is. That's the first shot this gun's let off, other than when the scope went on and it was sighted in. But we'll see how it goes on this one. Torch is just about flat and I can't see. Righto, we're good to go. No, unfortunately the lights have gone flat and I'm not going to pull the trigger. So the safety needs to go on. Safety's on. I will still duck under the barrel for extra safety, but unfortunately our torches have gone flat. So we've come up with a new idea, new light, and you can see there the first shot right there. That's the first shot that I've ever let off through that gun, and that's at 350 odd meters. And you know, there's virtually no wind. There's a tiny bit, you can sort of tell by the trees. That could have been me not breathing properly, slight bit of wind, or even the gun not dead accurate. But at 350 meters that's not too bad. But when I get the breathing right and the accuracy right and get used to that gun, that'll hit in that black dot right in the middle every time I pull the trigger. They are that accurate. That's only, you know, a couple of centimeters out, but that's our target. I'm going to go back and shoot 2 more into it now that I've got a half decent light, and we'll see how that goes. And if we've still got enough light, I'm going to put a shot into this bit of wood. It's hard wood, it's very tough wood. I'm just going to see what that does to the wood, just for curiosity, because I know what it does to flesh. So we'll go back and check it out. Yeah, so we can see that target a lot easier now, and we might even be able to see it through the scope. So this time, if we're lucky, you might be able to see what I'm trying to see. There it is. You can see it. You can also see the hairs in the gun, in the scope. So if you can see that, that's what I'm looking at. There it is. The hairs are the crosses, the big cross. In the scope, and the black dot is the target at the other end. So when I put my eye in there, I'll adjust it and breathe a couple of times in and out, and on the exhale, when the hairs are lined up exactly right, on the exhale, as the breath finishes and everything's married up and relaxed and no noise and no wind, just squeeze the trigger and it'll be a bullseye. Yeah. So we had to do that on Margaret's phone because when I put it on into a film, it wasn't picking up the top of the bullseye. So we just redone it if you're wondering why it's a bit unusual footage. Right, you can see the hairs there, the crosses, the scope. The crosses are in the gun, in the scope, and the black dot is the target at the other end. So when I put my eye in there, I'll adjust it and breathe a couple of times in and out, and on the exhale, when the hairs are lined up exactly right, on the exhale, as the breath finishes and everything's married up and relaxed and no noise and no wind, just squeeze the trigger and it'll be a bullseye. You might have noticed on the last shot, it shoots out about a 6, 7, 8 inch flame out the end. And most of the noise, believe it or not, is the sound barrier being broken. The bullet traveling at 800 and the projectile, sorry, traveling at, you know, phenomenal speed and breaking the sound barrier. We'll see how this one goes. This is shot number 2. So safety off. There's 2 mechanisms for the safety to be off, and here we go. Everything's in place. Safety is my number 1 thought, and let's see if we can get a bullseye on shot number 2. Alrighty, here we go, shot number 3, and then we'll walk down and have a look at the targets. Safety's off, area all clear. I reckon we're good to get a shot off. Bloody oath, very good to get a shot off. The hairs are lined up pretty close. Just make sure that's perfect before I squeeze that trigger. That's all good. There's one more shot in it. There's one more shot in there, and I'm going to put it in the wood that's on the ground and see what it does to that piece of wood. Well, I hit it because it fell over. Just make sure this thing's disarmed. Take the magazine out of it. This thing's got a magazine in it underneath, and that gun's now empty and clear, bolts open, 100% safe. I will move it to one side. I'm going to walk down there and we'll check all this out. Yeah, that gun's actually with the tripod on the end, the way it moves side to side, which is meant to do. Very nice gun. It feels fantastic. And like I said, it's fully Australian made. It's from J&A Shooting Supplies down there in Horsham. If you need anything at all related to hunting, they're the blokes to see. They're brilliant. Anyway, we'll see how accurate this gun is. I can already see. Okay, so it's shooting a fraction high. Yeah, you can see there. So that's the first one. And I don't know first or second or third, I'm not sure. But with any animal, like pig or deer or buffalo or anything, that if that was a heart shot or a head shot, it'd be dead. So we'll see what happened to the wood. Yeah, right. So it's actually split the whole bit of wood. It's split it all. And I'm not sure if the projectiles, the projectiles come out. So it's come out of there. And I'll hang on to that bit for the fire, but you know, that gives you some idea of some of the gear that we've got on board for target shooting. But a whole heap of fun if it's done properly.